down to elections 2015. It's so engaging that even some of the young members of our production team, our floor managers, just joined the set because he's been looking at the program and he simply had a question that he would like to ask Mr. Warner. So he will get a chance before we wrap things up. We're in our final 10 minutes of the program for this evening, and we turn back over to our panel. And who's going first? Yes, ma'am.
Me again after the break.
Yes.
Mr. Warner, 3 quick questions.
Yes,
have you ever seen our Prime Minister engage in any illegal activity, example, marijuana or any kind sort of drugs? That's 1. 2, what is your whole intake and what do you think about this prison break that happened last week Friday, that had us on week before Friday, that had us on a shakedown? If in fact it was any truth to what was said on national television that there was a state of emergency to happen, and also if you obtain any seats, which I think you will, would you join in the winning party at that time? Please and thank you.
What's the winning party?
If the winning party is the PP, because I think that's what we really want to know.
Or PNM or Kamala 2015. And you have 2-3 seats split in the vote, as the rumor said. Who would you align with in order to, for the country, not personal feelings, for the country to make a better country? Because I have seen a lot of things that the Prime Minister have done for our country in terms of children, hospital, cycling center. She has done a lot for the country. I ain't putting water in my mouth to say nothing. But if you win, who would you align yourself with to make Trinidad and we the people a better people of Trinidad and Tobago?
All right, your first question. Have I ever seen Mrs. Kamala Persad-Bissessar committing any illegal acts? The answer is no. I've never seen her committing any illegal acts, but some of the acts she committed have aroused my suspicion. The second question you asked me is about what happened last Friday, you said? So what happened last Friday for me is a scandal. In any other country but this one, the Minister of Justice would have resigned, the Commissioner of Prisons would have resigned. Because what happened last Friday is unheard of in any civilized society. But in Trinidad and Tobago, anything goes. And therefore you have all kinds of excuses. But the fact is, Caroline, that the rumor this country is abound with rumor of a state of emergency. And people are saying so from day one. Even the police inspector who got suspended, Michael Seals, from the Police Association, he said so. And the reason is because people believe that the government is using all kinds of means so as to prevent holding an election.
So you don't think so?
I don't think so, because at the end of the day, they will not succeed. This country, Caroline, will not allow the government to postpone the election. In the first case, it's the first time in this country's history. It takes 3 months before election is held. By law, it's 5 weeks. Here it takes 12 weeks. And while they're doing this, they're raping the treasury dry. So at the end of the day, this won't happen. And your last question about where, if the LP wins 2-3 seats, whom we shall support, I will tell you this. It's easier for me to say who I shall not support. And the ILP, from where I sit, cannot support the UNC.
Good night, Mr. Warner. I have one final question before I'm done for the night. I saw in the paper this week they gave the Minister of Energy MP of the Year. Minister of the Year. But you were Minister of the Year 3 times, 3 years. You were MP of the Year.
Yeah, but you see, in my case, sorry to interrupt. In my case, as Minister of the Year, I earned mine. In his case, the biggest oil spill this country ever had in its history is under him. The most losses we have had in oil and gas are under him. And he got a trust upon him because he's going up for Kumutu Manzanella, and they believe that will help him in his climb in politics. That's all.
Just a point
it's what you call prostitution. That's what it is.
It's not a local. It is not a local
I'm aware
award.
of it.
This is an international award. So are you saying that an international organization is awarding a local minister because he's going up for a seat? That is totally incorrect then.
But
he won last year in the international thing. And what the article was highlighting that he has been shortlisted again this year by the same international organization outside of Trinidad and Tobago for Energy Executive of the Year.
All I'm saying is that is based on the recommendation from the country. Don't forget from a had your son say, come in. The country has to make a recommendation. And it's based on that recommendation, the award is given. It doesn't come from a Hudson. And therefore I'm saying for us to recommend him, for him,
the international body will do their own investigation.
For him, for us to recommend him.
And had they not done their investigation, he would not have won last year.
All right. I will repeat, for us to recommend him, when the biggest oil spill in this country's history was under him, is untenable.
Right. And in all fairness to Mr. Warner, he did say that he was chosen by the people, and he made the point earlier that his electorate, Chaguanas West, had re-elected him. So I mean, we have to understand that that's the backdrop he's saying.
I can understand my friends. I can understand. I can understand.
Yeah, and I had.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I had to correct you as well. So, Mr. Warner, the point I was getting at in the initial question, we have the biggest cabinet now. We have ministries splitting left, right, and center. What is the ILP's view for a cabinet?
Under ILP government, you won't have a 16-member cabinet. Under no condition. Under no condition. Tell me something. You have a Minister of Community Development, Gypsy. What his function is? To build and or supervise 83 community centers. A ministry for that? You have a ministry of national diversity, and nobody understands even up to today what ministry does. Nobody understands. You have a ministry of transport. Every country in the Caribbean has a ministry of works and transport. Every country, because the two are compatible. But in this country, you have works and then you have transport to give people. This is crazy. So you have 29 ministers, the biggest in the Commonwealth per capita, and you're not getting the service that you expect. Absolutely. And therefore, I'm saying under an ILP government, the cabinet will not be more than 16 persons.
All right. So I want to ask two questions. One is a follow-up to the.
You have one to ask, right?
One is a follow-up to the statement that you said earlier about you presenting the evidence, connecting that to the allegations laid against you. Currently, the United States of America, their legal frameworks have presented evidence, and my question therefore is,
to whom?
They have presented evidence to international fraud allegations. They made a press conference when they laid the allegations, and the question becomes, is there evidence less than yours when you present evidence around corruption allegations to this current administration? That's one. And two, while you were in this current administration, the People's Partnership government executed no sort of political will against protecting LGBT people against discrimination. And my question to you, therefore, is, if the ILP was to win the next election, would you repeal the laws that currently discriminate against people of different sexual orientations and gender identities?
Okay. I am not aware. As I sit here, I have no evidence from the US on any matter whatsoever. One more time, because you seem to be focused on this. So I'll tell you again.
It is important if you're going to vote.
I'll tell you again, one more time. As I sit here, I have been presented with no evidence of any kind from US authorities or local. Right? That closes that chapter. Secondly, also, I don't know of any laws in the country which engenders or practices discrimination.
The Equal Opportunity Act deliberately states that it does not protect against discrimination of individuals along the lines of sexual orientation. It says so in words, against discrimination in housing, education, healthcare, and employment.
All I'm saying is, if there are acts that do that, then we have to go back to the people and simply discuss with them, because those acts...
We should discuss the human rights of other individuals. We need to as a community choose whether or not individuals...
You're not listening, a dialogue is between two persons here. right? I'm saying again, you have to go back to the people and discuss with them whatever laws that may be discriminatory. Because by you saying so, or my saying so, doesn't make it so. The fact is we go to them. And if there are laws, I tell you seriously, if there are laws that are discriminatory of any, in any kind, of any form, they have to be removed.
Mr. Warner, before we go, I just had one question. I'm actually part of the staff of Synergy TV. My name is Kieran Ramsmer. For the better, for the worse, having you here, I just think that we don't really have the opportunity to speak to Mr. Jack Warner all the time. So, in short, for the better or worse, what advice you have for us, as most of us are being young and budded in the political arena, what advice you have for us that you think you could give us with your experience that you have?
I would beg you all, almost on my knees, to become more involved in the development of your country, to become more involved. For example, in the economy. The economy is in shambles. Oil, as of today, is $45 a barrel from $100, and yet for all, we are on a spending spree as if nobody is concerned. At the end of the day, guys, these are things you have to inherit. We are taking loans today of all kinds which you can't pay. We take a loan to build a children's hospital for $1.2 million. That very hospital was to be built at Pierre Road for $120 million. When you build that hospital, how do you maintain it? How do you service it? It means that for one patient there is $10,000 per day. We are getting trouble to maintain Mount Hope Hospital, but yet for all, we build one 15 minutes away for children. Now, if you get involved in those things, right, the economy, the judiciary, the society, all our institutions, the police service, then I'm saying you could save your country. But if you stand back and only think about Marshall Montano, right, that doesn't help the country and doesn't help your children.
And with that, we, of course, are making ready to pull the curtains down on this edition of The Chair on STV. I want to take a special moment to thank Mr. Warner for going through the extended time.
I'm the first political leader in the community.
That's right. And I should mention that. I mean, that he trumped my segue. He is the first political leader to sit in the chair and allow for the discussion with young Trinidad and Tobago. As we move into the elections 2015, all the polls have stated that the young voter represents a significant percentage of the populace, the voting populace for this particular election. And as young people in Trinidad and Tobago, and as a practitioner that has a responsibility to get the message out, fair, unchallenged, and unbiased to young Trinidad and Tobago, we at Synergy TV feel that it's important to start step by step. The first step is getting together. The second step is to begin to speak with one another, to openly discuss the ideas, the positions, the opinions, and the chair is a program that facilitates that. The final step is working together. And that is where we will achieve significant success as a young people in Trinidad and Tobago, as a young nation, and indeed as a significant part of the voting population in this 2015 general election. I want to thank you once again, Mr. Warner, for being a part of it. I want to thank the panel for participating. The fourth edition of The Chair, catch us on repeat tomorrow night, as of course this entire program will be repeated, and of course throughout the weekend. We continue discussion, we continue the dialogue. Join us next week for another edition of The Chair, right here on STV Real TV. My name is Brian Haynes. Have yourself a good night.
Why my people suffer so bad? Oh, is it that should really be sad? Is it a misplaced melancholy? Well, it's politics time again. Are you gonna vote now? My people me attack. It's politics time again. Are you gonna vote now? My God. Rise or fall in suffrage. Rise and take your stance again. He who fights and run away will live to fight another day. It's politics time again. Are you gonna vote now? You people me attack. It's politics